introduce to you David Jordan. David's been a member of TCA for several years. He's done several classes with us. This year's a little bit different. He's bringing his Kick Butts campaign. Jordan apparently smoked for 30 plus years, and he was able to kick the habit. So I want to welcome David, appreciate him being here. I don't want to see any of you all outside after this class. No more of that. Anyway, David Jordan.
Thank you. Can you turn that off? Yeah, I'm not going to use it. All right, good morning. Those of you who have been with me before, know I don't really need a microphone. I'll just go from here. First of all, thank you for being in this room. Unlike all those other people and the other hundreds of other people who ran by this door like we were selling the plague or something. So thank you for being here. I promise a couple of things. First of all, no pressure. You know, it's funny that I used to go to a church that was close to a place where I was living at the time, and I was fascinated by the pastor for a couple of reasons. Number one, because of his speaking ability. He taught me more about public presentation than most of the public presentation classes I went through. He was just really good at it. So much so, like if you're in Nashville, he's one of the guys on Sunday morning now, he's on TV. The second thing he did was what caught my attention as a pastor was his view on things was not like I'm trying to fix you from being a heathen, you know, to somebody that's going to heaven. His take on it was, I've seen like a lot of things. I've seen two paths. I like this one, and I'm trying to get there. If you want to know what I know, I'll tell you that. If you're trying to get to the other place, you're probably not going to learn much from me. And he just kind of went on his journey. That's why I'm here for. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. This is not really about you quitting smoking, or it can be. I thought we were going to have a little more time. We've got less than I thought, so we're going to get right into this. Let me give you a brief history for me. I started in the department in 1984. Everybody in the department smoked. Everybody. Some people didn't, but most people did. I smoked for 30 years. And I can assure you, I don't halfway do things. I don't light a cigarette and then put it in the ashtray and let it burn out. If I did that, it was because I was unconscious. I would light a cigarette and smoke the cigarette. Jordan, how are you? You got the cutest kid in the world. Did you know that?
I try.
I'm not blaming it on you. I was a heavy smoker. I'll give you an example. How many of you in here know what a butt can is? Kind of an antiquated thing now. They're in the like correctional museums now. If you were to come to my house back then, like back 6 years ago, if you walked up on the front porch, there's a little bitty table and two chairs. Right next to one of the chairs is a can. It is overflowing with cigarettes. If you walk in the house, go straight through the living room and all the back onto the back patio, there's some furniture back there and plants and stuff, and a butt can. And it is overflowing with cigarette butts. I mean, like if you kick the can, they'll just roll off the top. If you were to go back in the house and go into the garage, you'll notice that it's a lovely shade of yellow in there. And there's one chair in my garage. It's not there anymore. And right next to the chair, guess what? A butt can. It's full. All right, well, you've seen butt cans and you've seen full butt cans. I'm the only smoker in the house. You have any idea how big a butt can is? All me, baby, all me. I don't halfway do things, so I smoked heavy for a long time. The more I tried to quit, the worse it got. I decided that I was just about through. I was about to quit quitting. I was going to die a smoker. Now let me tell you the impact of that. See, I believe in leadership. I believe in being a parent. You're a leader by proxy. You don't have a choice. You can't screw that up. I remember some of the things I've done to my children. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a second. I remember a time in my season in my life, I was a single father, and I came home from the grocery store and I was unpacking a bag, and both of the girls that still lived at home were there, and the oldest one at the time said, Daddy, are you going to quit smoking? And it occurred to me I had unpacked another thing of patches, I think. It was either patches or gum. I think this was patches. And I was beginning my, well, Daddy's really going to give it a shot speech, when I just happened to glance up at her and there was tears coming down. And it occurred to me yet again that what I was going to passively put off is, well, you know, I'm going to give it a shot. Huh? It never hurts to give it a shot. She wasn't kidding. And this was serious business to her. She sat in the back seat so many times, because I'm a responsible parent. I believe in parenting the proper way. So when I smoked in the car, I would crack a window, because that's what responsible parents do. And my kids would go, Daddy, it's raining. What they meant was, on me. It's raining on me. And I would go, blah, blah, blah. It would come out, hey, whoa, where's all this hostility coming from? Daddy, I'm getting a headache. This stuff gives me a headache. Guess what I did? I throw it right. Nope. Make excuses, keep right on going. I was a hardcore, heavy smoker. Was I going to get COPD? Yep. If you're smoking, you've already got it. Congratulations. Now you can't fix that. Awesome. We'll talk more about that. I saw my children cry more than once. The people that choose to put up with me on a regular basis, I just make it more difficult because I stink. I would spend money I didn't have. I would spend time I didn't have. I took a lot of breaks as a smoker. I still take a lot of breaks. I just don't smoke. Now I eat. Let's get into this. A friend of mine, I gotta give credit where credit's due. A friend of mine's actually the one who titled the class. All right, so a couple of questions. Anybody in here smoke right now? It's okay. There's not going to be like you are being captured on video. I'm kidding. Somebody, how many of you know somebody that smokes? Somebody that you love and care about. We're not worried about the other ones. Okay. Do you know it's anybody that has quitting? Somebody that's given up on it? Me too. I was that guy. When I quit smoking, I had patches, I had gum, and I had Shantex in the cupboard. That's a fact. I gave them away, I think 3 years later. I gave them away to people that were trying to quit smoking. The gum tasted nasty. I hated it and it didn't help. The patches would burn, and they helped a little bit. And the Shantex made me want to kill everybody. I only took it once, and I wanted to kill everybody. I don't have time to tell the story, but it was terrible. It just shows more about what a terrible person I am. It was crazy. I didn't like it. So I was going to quit quitting. We'll talk more about it. Let's look at some stuff. What is the problem with the smoking? This is stuff I found out over the years. Somebody asked me earlier, what made you start doing this? And I said, well, I accidentally quit. It changed my life. Guys, it changed everything in my life because I happened to quit smoking. And the more people would ask me, how's that going? They would ask me a question I didn't know the answer to. So I would kind of do some research, and then every time I talk about how I quit or trying to help somebody else quit, it would just get longer and longer. That's where this came from. There's approximately 600 ingredients in a cigarette. Now, let me get this right. We ain't even lit it yet. And there's already 600, how many of you thought it was tobacco and paper? Not so. 600 ingredients right from the scratch. When burned, they create more than 7,000 chemicals. Kind of like eating Chinese food. At least 69 of these chemicals are known to cause cancer, and many are poisonous. Now let me ask you a question. You don't have to raise your hand if you don't want to. How many of you smoked and knew most of this already? You'd be surprised. Like, how many of you knew it was not good for you? All right, that's fair. Here's some of the stuff in there. I'll give you a minute. You know, it's just like I put a few images up there to make it a little easier for you to see. All right. Embalming fluid. There you go. I'm not being judgmental. I told you, a hardcore smoker. And you could have shown me these pictures and I've been like, I never knew embalming fluid could be so awesome. How many of you like to smoke? That's what all the smokers say. I'd quit, but I kind of like it. Yeah, me too. We'll talk about why in a minute. All right, so what's the problem? 69% of the smokers want to quit, but can't. This is what kind of leads me on that path of being disturbed about the whole thing, is that the majority of people don't want to admit, yeah, I'd quit if I could, but man, we're talking about some hard stuff. Exposure to secondhand smoke causes nearly 50,000 deaths each year in the United States. People that aren't you. One of my ex-wives, there's been several. That's not funny. Y'all are heartless. Her mother died of lung cancer, eat up with lung cancer. Never smoked a day in her life. Worked in an office full of smoke. Now, did one contribute to the other? We don't know. That's the fact. We don't know. Seems a little suspicious though, right? There's people that die of lung cancer that don't hang around smoking. You know who some of the secondhand smoke recipients were in my life? Wife, parents, children. These are not strangers. These are people that chose to be around me even though I had this habit. Except the kids who had no choice. Many smokers have given up. Smoking makes the risk of heart attack 200 to 400% greater than that of non-smokers. Correctional people are already under stress. We are always great about our dietary habits, right? We are the group of people that will start out with a donut, cover it with gravy, dunk it in coffee, and then wash it down with a cigarette. If you're like me. I remember when I was teaching tactical units, we would be out in the field, and somebody would have given me a cigar. I'd be smoking a cigar and chewing Red Man wintergreen. And when the cigarette would go, and I didn't smoke the cigarette like puffing and like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm a grown man. If you're gonna light it and say, don't let me go there. I would inhale. You follow me? Mm-hmm. So I put the cigar out and light a cigarette. All right. So if cigarette smoking's so bad, then why do people do it anyway? Well, you heard this before? Like, well, they've got a bad habit, or smoking's a bad habit. Chewing your fingernails, that's a bad habit. Picking your toes in public, bad habit, right? There's a lot of it. Talking with your mouth full of food, bad habit. This is one of the things where my kids said, Daddy, why do you smoke? There was a day we sat down and I told them the truth. Because it was more important for me that they understood that it's not that I don't want to. I can't. I don't have it in me. I've tried. And what was so hard about that was I'm a pretty disciplined guy, I think. Not about everything, but I try to be. I try to manage things. I try to set goals and attain them. I'm pretty squared away on some things. This is one thing that I could not accomplish. One thing in my life that got me and I couldn't get it. Addiction is a state characterized by compulsive engagement in rewarding stimuli. Not so bad. Despite the adverse consequences. Even when we know it's not right, we do it anyway. And by not right, I mean unhealthy for us and other people. It's counterproductive. All tobacco products contain nicotine. That's what the smoker is addicted to. That's what the dipper is addicted to, the nicotine. That's going to become an important thing in a minute. Is cigarettes the only thing nicotine's contained in? The answer is no. It's in all kind of stuff. Will nicotine kill you? Yes, if you drink a bottle of it. A large bottle. So don't do that. You should write that down. Don't note to self. Don't drink a bottle of nicotine. Otherwise, it's not going to kill you. That's kind of important for the rest of this. When smokers take a puff, the nicotine hits the brain in 10 seconds. Brings out about a sudden release of glucose, increases blood pressure, respiration, and heart rate. These effects are caused by the drug's stimulation of the adrenal glands, which releases adrenaline into the bloodstream. It's a high for you smokers. The best time to hit that cigarette, the best time with that cigarette is right when you light it. The world is a better place. We're all like, ISIS is gone. Over time, this leaves the smoker's body and mind craving more nicotine in the levels of nicotine, and if the nicotine, okay, what that says up there. If it's not maintained, it makes it, how this is put, it makes them irritable and frustrated. I remember Christmas Eve one year. I had stepped out to do something and I came back in and I was reaching up on top of the grandfather clock to get my Marlboro Lights because I'm health conscious. I don't smoke the full flavor, but the lights. And my Zippo, because I'm a hardcore smoker, and I don't play with Vicks. So I reach up there and they weren't there. And I looked and I was like, I look around and, they're grinning and giggling. Okay, so they're playing a joke on Daddy. All right, give them up. And they snickered, they hee-haw, this is funny. The short version of this went on for about 3 minutes, I'm guessing, Christmas Eve, before I unhooked myself. It made it very clear, enough is enough, go get my cigarettes. And when it was clear to me that they weren't going to, I ruined Christmas, just about. That's another thing about me, I don't play. I can't remember exactly, but I think one of the kids left crying. My wife and I got into an argument. Cigarettes. I ain't playing. It wasn't the cigarettes, guys, it was the addiction. The addiction. Cigarette manufacturers now, people are finding it harder and harder to quit. You know why? It's not by accident. It is unregulated. They can put as much nicotine in there as they want to, and they're doing it. They're doing it with the dip, the chew, and the cigarettes themselves. They're adding more nicotine to make them more addictive. That tickles me. I don't know why. Just as an expression, not the fact that he's holding a cigarette. Addictive behaviors. Let's look at some of the things. Tell me when you recognize them. Smoke, dip, despite known harmful consequences. How many of you register with that? Or you know somebody that it does? That was me. I knew it was killer. You know those are, yeah, my doctor. When I told my doctor I was going to try the e-cigarette, I said, what do you think? He said, well, it's better than what you're doing now. I said, well, I tried the Shantex. What do you think about that? He said, well, it's better than what you're doing now. The short version is I went through the whole list of stuff I had tried, like self-mutilation, like hair pulling, head banging. Well, yeah, that's Brandon, what you're doing now. Expose others to known harmful consequences in secondhand smoke. Again, not people outside of Walmart that I don't care about, my family. Alter or adjust a lifestyle to accommodate smoking. Anybody ever done that? It's terrible. Like 11 o'clock at night, you're watching a scary movie, whatever, pause it. I didn't smoke in the house. I pause it, go over there, grab the pack. It's too light. Like I knew that from experience. It's too light. There's no rattle. Oh crap. I smoked my last cigarette. Is that a problem? It is for me. I live 20 minutes away from the closest store during the day. At night, it gets even farther and farther away. This is going to be about an hour trip. Guess what I'm doing? Putting my shoes on. Guess what I'm doing if I ain't got a babysitter? They'll understand. Yeah, bribe them. Yep, they're going to. I'm a responsible parent. Despite the hacking and the coughing, despite the other things, I would do it anyway. Alter or adjust lifestyle to accommodate smoking. How many of you have stood outside while everybody else went on in? How many of you, if you were carpooling, you kind of hated that because that meant that you couldn't, like, oh, they're one of those people who won't let you smoke in their car. You were staying outside. How many of you stood outside in the rain because they wouldn't allow you to smoke inside? I remember when the state went smoke-free, people were starting to call me. People would come to the academy and rally around me like I was going to be some kind of advocate for, and I hated to tell them, it's like, I'm quitting. But how many of you seen people stand out in the rain, in the cold? Crazy stuff. Like I could be projectile vomiting. Excuse me, I know y'all just ate. I could be sick at my stomach, have the flu, gangrene. I can't go to work. Guess where I can go? Out to the back porch. After that butt can, I can make it out there. Whew. It's a struggle. Life's a struggle. Buy cigarettes or dip, even if they're low on money. Seen that before? I've been there. If you don't have the money, period, and you've already robbed your bank and all the other piggy banks in the house, exhibit desperate behavior to obtain more nicotine. Desperate behavior. Can anybody tell me what some of those things are?
Go through the ashtrays.
What was that?
Go through the ashtrays.
The number one sign you're an addict. You look through the packs, because you're not an animal or a barbarian, so the next thing you do is look for more packs. So you look, like there's got to be a half a pack or a quarter of a pack. I think I left, and you run out there and you look in the trunk, and you look all over the house, and that doesn't work, so the store's closed. And then you glance, you take a target glance at the ashtray, it's full. Remember all those butt cans? There's a plethora of smoking stuff out there. So you got the rifling through, you got to find a good one because you're not a Neanderthal, you're not going to keep smoking a little. And then when that doesn't work, you turn into a Neanderthal and start smoking a little. Like I thought I was, like when I first started working in the prison, I saw guys like scooping dust off the floor and rolling it up in the Bible pages and smoking that. And I thought, that was a terrible idea then, but now I've got a dusty floor. There's plenty of smoking material here. It gets terrible, like some of the things we do for those behaviors. Begging other people for cigarettes. Like anybody ever been that quitter that quit smoking so you stop buying them and just smoke the ones you're gonna smoke from everybody else? Yeah, I'm quitting smoking. You got one that I can borrow? I stopped at a store one night and I was so mad. I pulled in, I was, irritated. I pulled into the store my wife was like, where are you going? I said, I'll be right back. I stormed in there and went, I'll give you like $5 for one cigarette. He was like, how about if I just give you one? I was like, okay. And my wife said, did you buy a pack of cigarettes? I said, no. And then I let one up. I couldn't even tell you what it was. It could have been a hog leg. It could have been like, you know, I don't know. It was good, whatever it was. Become agitated, hostile, aggressive when the nicotine levels dip. I mean irritable, hateful, not worth being around. Ruined my whole day over that. All controlled by that addiction. Some reasons to quit aside from the big health issues. Number one, you stink. You knew you stunk, you just didn't know we knew you stunk, but you do. When you come up and you go, hey, we go, oh my hell. And my wife said, you don't cuss good. When right after I quit, about, I'm guessing a month or two, I was in a pet store, we were buying something, and somebody walked down the road behind us. I did not see this person. And I went, what is that smell? And she started laughing. She said, somebody just came back in from smoking. And I really, like, if you know me, I'm very rarely at a loss for words. I said, is that what? She said, yep. Wow, I had no idea. No idea. We reek, we walk around with that. Anybody remember the Charlie Brown cartoon? Remember Pigpen? He walked around with that little cloud of dirt around him. Imagine that as the odor. Kind of makes you more thankful for the people that put up with us, huh? Okay. Or for some of you that put up with other people. I know some of you did not smoke. Loss of sense of smell and taste. When I remember I was working at the academy when I quit, and it's true. Like when you quit smoking, you start tasting food again. I'm like, wow, I can really taste this. And one of my favorite meals, if you've been to the academy, remember the little food products that they would make for breakfast that were some type of meat or meats, and they were in the shape of an H and they were fried. Y'all remember those things? Whatever those were, I really liked those until I quit smoking. And I was like, wow, like what is that? Because then it was like, are they, like now they're making them on a press board or something. They're like, no, that's the way they've always tasted. So it wasn't always a good thing that I got back my sense of taste. Some of the things I really liked, I did not really like. Premature aging, wrinkles and stuff like that. Like I've got stuff down here that like crow's, I don't know if that's a crow's feet or what, but that's from like inhaling all the time. Premature wrinkling and spotting and stuff. Anybody ever seen people, I'm not talking about inmates. The first time I ever saw it was on inmates. But I'm talking about other people that's got like stains around their finger from smoking so much. Social pressures. If you're a smoker nowadays, God bless you, because it's hard. It's hard to be a smoker right now because there's pressure from everywhere. They're moving you farther and farther from the entrance of the building. It's like, you know, no smoking 4 miles from this spot. You're like, really? And you look over there 4 miles away and there's a little group of people standing in the rain. Whatever. Impotence. I'm just going to leave that one out there, okay? All right? Increased infections. So, like, wounds don't heal as fast. And the thing about it is we tend to blame that on other things. We'll say, well, you know, the older you get, the longer it takes. But that may not necessarily be what's going on in the infection because you've got a coating of stuff all over you all the time to smoke. You're a danger to others. You're literally walking around blowing toxic fumes out for other people to breathe. And I didn't want to hear that when I was a smoker. I'm like, whatever, if you don't let me smoke and go over there. Go 50 feet from the entrance. But that's what we do. We walk around getting everybody else. Impact on physical activity. Like there is no more. We ain't running. We may run to the store and get some more cigarettes. But as far as, and there's always exceptions, you know, I know people that can outrun me and they're better, you know, like they can do more push-ups and they smoke. But most of it's not. The cost, it is expensive to smoke. It's expensive for people that are retired and they're still smoking. It's expensive for people that work, you know, jobs that don't pay that well. It's expensive for people that have jobs that pay that well. I guess they can just afford it. Lack of productivity. How much time do we spend smoking instead of doing other things? You'd be surprised what I can get done in the morning now as opposed to what I was doing. Are there other reasons to quit? Anybody else? None? I got them all? Cool. All right, so here we are in October. No, not now, then. And I'm fussing about bills and stuff. My wife says, I can't wait anymore. So she goes in there and she said, I got this for you for Christmas. I think you're gonna like it. Well, why don't you go ahead and open it? Well, that's a terrible thing to do to me for two reasons. One, because, you know, like, well, okay, there's only one. I have no willpower. Of course I want to open it early. It's a gift. Like, I can't wait. I'm not that guy. So I said, okay, I get a little excited. I'm still a big kid. So I rip into the paper. It's only a little thing. I rip into it, and I open it up, and it's like an ink pen kind of a thing. And I'm reading the thing. Whew, oh, it's one of those. I've seen infomercials on these. Mm-hmm. And the short version is that she bought me an e-cigarette. Looked like a big Virginia Slim. She was all excited. She's like, I know you've been trying to quit, had a hard time, and you know, like you're fussing because we're spending money, and I meant she's spending money. I need my stuff. Her wasting money on groceries and back to school supplies. Did we buy them pants last year? I need to buy bullets and cigarettes. The necessities in life. I'm a realist. I'm not good at lying or hiding my feelings, so it was kind of like, oh yeah, woo, that's awesome there. That's one of those if I've ever seen it. That's we'll try it. You know, like I'm telling on myself, if you give me a gift and I don't start using it right then, I don't like it. All right? But I'm not kidding. If you give me awesome socks, I don't care where we are. I'm taking my shoes off. I'm putting on the awesome socks. This is to see if they're really awesome, and they will be. So the very fact that I, you know, like went to put it up, she's like, try it out, try it. Anyway, short version, I went and tried it. It didn't work for me. I gave it away. She spent $110 for it, the kit, the starter kit. The person I gave it to started having a lot of success. They weren't smoking, and when we heard about this, I was like, oh great, you know, that's awesome. And I looked at my wife, and my wife knew I was a smoker when we met. She never said a word about it, but I could tell, I knew her well enough to know she was disappointed. Never said it. But what I saw in her eyes was, you know, you could have given it a shot. Like I literally just tried it for maybe a day or two, and then gave $110 to somebody else. So I called this guy, and I'm like, hey, you don't know me, my wife bought some crap, one of these e-cigarettes from you, and I gotta get another one. Like whatever she bought, give me that. He was like, well, it's 110. Okay, good. That's awesome. That's $220. That's fabulous. So to show my wife that these stupid things are a gimmick and they won't work, I tried them. I really gave it a shot, and I accidentally quit smoking. Completely. I don't even own an e-cigarette anymore. I used it for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. And then quit using that. Let me talk about that for a minute. The kind that I had, you had to, it was a little bitty thing. The battery lasted maybe 3 hours, if that. You might have like 2 or 3 cigarettes in there, and then you had to put more juice in there. It was just, so you constantly kept a battery on the charger and one in the thing. Nowadays, they're completely different. If you hadn't figured it out, all right, this is like, how did I quit? E-cigarettes. But not just any e-cigarette. Now, I don't have a particular brand. This isn't a sales gimmick. I don't have a particular model. I got that up there because that's about what I would recommend right there. So, here's the thing about that. What makes the difference between an e-cigarette and a regular cigarette? Well, I can tell you a couple of things. Number one, you don't stink anymore. Number two, the health benefits are out of this world. Somebody put it on Facebook not too long ago. A study that they had heard, like they had tried to get their husband to quit using one, and then they found this study on Facebook. And I won't tell you the 2 words I used to describe how that was not true, but there were 2 words I used that said that's not accurate information. And I sent them like 3 studies, medical studies. People say, well, there's really no difference. You're just giving up one for that's crap. So let me tell you what to do. If you want to quit smoking, I got to kind of hurry this up. If you want to quit smoking today, in a minute, here's what you do. You take about 50, 60 bucks, 45, depending on where you go, like some 45 bucks. If you're spending less than that, you're not going to quit smoking, probably. Somebody asked me one time, said, why didn't you tell me that 30 minutes ago that you quit on an e-cigarette? And I said, because I've had so many people that say, how'd you quit? And I go, well, I used an e-cigarette. And they go, yeah, my brother tried that, it didn't work. Okay, let me tell you why it didn't work, Pumpkin. Because they bought it at Quickie Mart, trying to be cheap. I get that, I'm cheap. The ones at Quickie Mart aren't going to, well, I tried to stop. They don't work. That's why you don't quit. Like, I promise you, you don't know 2 people that's quit smoking one of those. I know over 400 that have quit using the thing you see behind you. I know that for a fact. They don't work at the ones at Quickie Mart are designed to get you to keep buying those cartridges. The cartridges, my mom, bless her heart, my dad's a chain smoker. He won't quit. I said, that's a caveat to this. If you know somebody in your life that says, I'm not quitting, they're right. Period. That's it. They're not quitting. When they come back to you, that's when you can help them. I've had more than one person sit in front of me and go, I don't care what you say. Well, I'm not talking to you. If that's you, you can leave. I'm not talking to you. It's mostly what I've seen this helps is people that really want to quit, they just don't know how. Y'all know Mike Long? How many of you know Mike Long? I'm sorry for all of you. This didn't have anything to do with the class. Mike put me off for over a year trying to get prepared to quit smoking. It was like, man, I'm just not ready. Just not, Dave, I know. Just not ready for that. Just not ready. I gotta, I'm quitting they tell me their plan. Well, okay, yesterday I smoked 52 cigarettes, and then tomorrow, and then long range, and then in the next 10 years, I'm gonna, I say, whoa, buddy, how about if we go to the thing, and you just quit this afternoon? I don't bullshit. Now, if you want to quit smoking today, come with me at lunchtime. You will be a non-smoker when you come back. Call my bluff. I dare you. Here's what you do. You go in there, you go to the counter and you say, hey, what do you recommend as a starter kit? It's going to be something like this or something like maybe that. That's really new to me. But that thing right there, if I were trying to quit, that's what I would go get. That's, now we're talking about $100 or so. This is all you need. That is awesome. Because that's non-variable. Like you take what you get. The good thing is when you go to the vapor store, you can try that out. And that's another thing. You go to the vapor store, like people that wear eyeglasses, it's a difference in going to Walmart or going to an eyeglass place that has, the samples you can put on and the different things, like get the ones that look good and feel good because you're going to wear them all the time. So if you're going to get an e-cigarette, get one that works for you all the time. So what you do is you go in and you say, okay, this is about how much I smoke. Most people that own vapor stores, guess what? They used to smoke a lot. And they accidentally quit smoking like I did and went, this is awesome. The guy that sold me the second one, I sat down, he said, you need to come over here and let's talk about this. And he was like explaining and all animated like I get. And I'm like, I'm smarter than the average bear. I said, hey, you must be making a killing off these. And he was like, huh? I said, yeah, like how much you make off each unit that you sell? He said, about $8. I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, well, you just get all excited about it. I promise you. He was sitting there and he kind of thought about what I said for a minute, and then he looked offended. And he stopped what he was doing and turned around and faced me. He said, I don't think you understand, Mr. Jordan. These things changed my life. I don't smoke anymore. That got me to thinking about it. Dave Ramsey, the financial advisor, says you can change your family tree by the way you spend money, by the way you manage money. Like your daddy was broke, his daddy was broke, his grandpa was broke. Your kids ain't got to be broke. It's all about how you manage money. It's not the money you make, it's what you do with the money you make. That's a scientific fact. Dave Ramsey said if you manage it well, your kids won't be doing the things that people that don't manage their money well will be facing. I agree with that completely. My dad smokes. He smokes now. He's in intensive care right now. Maybe smoked later, I don't know. His dad smoked. His dad smoked. You follow me? My kids, their dad does not smoke. He did. He does not anymore. They do not smoke. None of my children smoke. So far, so good, right? And it could change. The way I look at it, one of the things we've successfully managed to do is change our family tree from smokers to non-smokers. I don't take the credit for it. My wife, don't tell her this because she already thinks she's smarter than me. It was her idea. So what you do is go down to the vapor store. If you want me to go with you, I promise you I will. I don't mind. It helps me. I had a lady, a friend of mine, one of my closest friends, called me not too long ago. He owns a company. The person that runs his company is Marilyn. And he tells people all the time, he's the Mickey Mouse to Walt Disney. He's the animated person people come to see. He said, but if I died, the company would still go on. If she died, we'd go under. And it's his company. He loves this lady. She really keeps that business going. And he called me and he said, Marilyn got some bad news at the doctor and she's scared. She wants to quit smoking. She can't quit smoking. I'd already talked to Marilyn. He said, I told her she needs to call you. Is that okay? I said, of course. I wish she were here. We talked for about 20 minutes on the phone. She said, David, what do I do? I said, okay, good. We can just skip the lecture and get right down to the brass tacks. I said, get up. Now, in the middle of the workday, get up, go to the place, tell them what you're going to do. Not that you're going to quit smoking, because you're not. You're just going to change brands. And start testing them out. Like try them out, get the one that you want, get what feels right. Smokers need three things. Number one, they need the throat hit. When you inhale, You gotta feel it go past your throat. It's called a throat hit. I didn't know it had a name. Number two, when it gets down into your belly, it has to start putting out that fire. You know, when you're sitting there watching a movie or something, you go, whoa, I haven't smoked in a while. That anxious anxiety, that stirring that's going on, that's that fire starting to build up. It's going to get worse if we don't put it out. And number three, when we exhale, there has to be a plentiful plume of smoke. There has to be that rewarding thing. That's why e-cigarettes at the store, at the Quickie Mart, don't work. Because the first 2 or 3 hits, that's what I'm talking about. But then after that, it starts to taper off quickly. Next thing you know, it's just not strong enough. We get right past the part that is working, right to, this thing's not working. Hence, e-cigarettes don't work. They do. We just don't have the right one. I was telling somebody yesterday, it's like buying a backpack, you know, a real cheaply made backpack that falls apart after a couple times that you use it and go, well, backpacks are terrible. They don't work at all. I know people that make nylon gear, you can't tear it apart. This guy in here with the tank, the reason it's bigger than normal is this. That's the battery, which will last you all day. The atomizer, which heats up the liquid. The chemical agents guys in here. Remember the old pepper foggers? The real, like that one? The way that worked, for those of you who aren't familiar, is you would pour liquid chemical agent in one tank and then start it up. And there was a heating chamber. So it would get really, really, really hot, like imagine a hot skillet. Just let it get hot, 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 and then put a drop of water in it. What does it do? Psst, turns into steam, right? That's what these do. The only difference is, to you feeling it, it doesn't get hot at all. You know what that smoke is coming out? Anybody ever been to a rock concert or something like that, where the smoke's on the stage and like that? That's what it is. Like, literally, you can make your own. You can take a G.I. Joe and like. Ta-da-da. You don't have to. Some of you are looking at me, that's crazy. Yeah? What about My Little Pony? Will that work? Yeah. So what you do is you find a flavor that you like. What I recommend is something that kind of mimics what you're using now, and then something fun. You can smoke strawberry, you can smoke Jack and Coke, you can smoke pina colada or milk or cookies, or yeah, you can smoke whatever. It's all out there, trust me. And most of the reputable vape stores now, there's one in Pigeon Forge, by the way, that it's like a bar. They mix it themselves, so they mix the amount of nicotine. Let's get to the brass tacks. So you go down, you spend 40, 50 bucks. I would do it today. I wouldn't wait. You try it out. Make sure it's got that good throat hit that you want. That's strong enough. It's the flavor that you're going to want. Like when you take that puff, you should want to do that again. Not because it's nicotine, but because that was kind of fun. Right? Get the strength that you need. If you can afford it, look into these. What I like about those is they're adjustable. So if it's not powerful enough, you can amp it up a little bit. On those days when you just want a little something to tide you over, you can amp it down a little bit. So that's the only difference, is that one's adjustable. The other one's kind of take it or leave it. Works the same way. The tank, you put liquid in. A vial that will last you, I don't know, maybe a month, 20 bucks, if that. What's this, a carton of cigarettes right now? So here's what you do, and I'm running out of time. People say, well, I need to quit smoking, whatever. Okay, you really don't. You need to quit smoking cigarettes, because the smoke is what's killing you. The smoke, not the nicotine. Let me say this again. You smoke the e-cigarette, right? Yep. You can do that until the day you die. Well, they're finding out now. No, they've already found out. Well, I mean, I saw, okay, here's what the study says. The last one that came out from the medical journal, New England Journal of Medicine, said that they were 95% more healthy than a regular cigarette. 95%. They're just afraid to give up the other 5%. They never do stipulate what that other 5% is. It's not hurting you. What I just say, you can eat cigarette, smoke all you want to from now on. You don't have to quit smoking. You just have to quit smoking cigarettes. What I told somebody one time, I said, imagine if you gave me a donut and said, man, you gotta try these, they're good. And I went, wow, that's awesome. I pulled out my Shanko meter and went, shoot, and cut my stomach open and shoved the donut in there and then sewed it back up and went, that is the best donut. Oh, what'd you just do? What? That's how I grew up eating. Just shove it right in there. Well, that's kind of what smokers do. We need the nicotine. The way we get it there is killing us. We got to cut out that part. We got to cut out the smoke. When a house catches on fire, what kills people? The smoke, not the fire. The smoke. Why? Because it's got a lot of chemicals in there. When we, back in the day, when we would fill up a room with smoke, hexachlorothane, the military smoke, and there's some tactical guys in there. And we'd put on the gas mask. It lasted about an hour in a completely saturated room. They would clog up completely because smoke has big, dense, ugly, thick, nasty particulates. They block up everything inside you and outside you. It's terrible. What we need to get rid of is the smoke, not the nicotine. You need to get rid of that too, as much as possible. But don't try to quit smoking. Just quit smoking cigarettes. Well, that's easy. Well, it's easy. Well, I didn't know. Like literally, you can walk in the vapor store, a smoker, walk out and stand there and smoke and go, I am not a smoker anymore. Just sit there and smoke your brain. You can smoke till you pass out and not be a smoker anymore. You don't have to stand outside anymore. It doesn't stink. You can smoke in your house. What about the harmful effect there's not any? Well, I find it and show it to me. Ain't there. Now, what has all this got to do with you? You can quit today. You ain't got to be ready to quit. You can just go do it. I was telling somebody earlier, imagine if I won $1 million or you won $1 million. It's like a little pyramid scheme or whatever. You invest $10 and you came out $1 million richer. Would you tell somebody about it? Some of you are like, nope, I'll just go play it again. That's what I found. I found a way to smoke that wasn't unhealthy. I worried that it was. Then I was fortunate enough to find out it was not. So what I'm doing is sharing that love with you guys. If you know somebody that smokes, that really wants to quit smoking but they can't, take them. Don't tell them, take them to the vapor store, get them one of these things, help them pick it out, help them get the color they like, their favorite color. They got lanyards and I've got a friend of mine who makes Kydex holsters. He's making holsters for these things. People are buying them. My suggestion, y'all were saying earlier, yeah, I heard you talk about this at the academy. Over 400 people so far that don't smoke anymore. Ask Mike Long, if you know him, next time you see him, were you doing that? Yep. Did it help any? He doesn't smoke anymore. I don't know if y'all knew that. Like when people do it, they go, what? Why didn't I do this before? And I go, I know, right?
He actually told me at Christ Salt that I was one reason I was doing
Good. So, this is about it. I'm wrapping it up. If you know somebody that smokes, or if you're that smoker and you're ready to do something different, this is the alternative I found that works for me. Now, do I still use them? No, I told you that I don't. I used mine for, I don't know, it varies every time I tell the story. Maybe a month, maybe 2 months. And then I just quit. I could, like one of the phenomenons, and if you want to talk to me after this, I'll be glad to talk to you about it. One of the phenomenons is that you can smoke anywhere you want to now. They're trying to restrict it now because they're idiots. Like I went in a Verizon store, and there's 2 signs on the door. 1, no firearms. 2, no e-cigarette. I thought, what about satchel bombs? Are those okay? Like sarin gas, is that all right? So I went in and because I've got an attitude sometimes, the little lady that was helping me, I said, I have a question. I'm not mad at you, but I do have a question. She said, okay. I said, the sign on the door. She said, about the guns? I said, no, about the e-cigarettes. Why can't you bring e-cigarettes in? And before she started, I said, let me guess, you don't know the answer to that. She said, you know what, I don't. They didn't say anything about it. And I said, she said, I can ask the manager. And I said, well, I want you to do that. I want you to go get the manager and bring them to me. Just tell them I have a question. And let me tell you something, before you go get the manager, they don't know either. She was like, okay. So now it's a challenge. So she went and got the manager and brought him back. And he said, yeah, she told me you had a question. And I asked him the same question. He said, well, I think it's because people get offended because I said, is that the reason the sign's on the door? He said, well, I don't know. And I looked at her and she started laughing. I said, what did they tell you when they put that on the door? He said, they didn't tell me anything because there's nothing to say. Like that's the reason you can't smoke and vape in Verizon, because the person next to you is ignorant about it. And I don't mean that bad. They literally just don't know. So they go, ah! Just ignorance. But for you, best alternative out there. That's my thoughts on it. I'll be glad to talk to you more about it. I can't take up any more time. If you have questions, please hang out for a second. I'll go by the door and we'll talk. I'll be here for about an hour or so. So I appreciate you guys and gals. Thank you. And good luck to you.